Our best bets for Week 4.
Yeah,
who wants to start?
Sharps.
Who's got a best bet for Week 4?
Guys, I'm telling you, there's a couple that
I can walk in with one right now.
You look excited right now.
I'm just looking at the unders have been absolutely balling.
Yeah,
which one? I'm going to stick with one right here. Okay, and it actually just dropped in real time by a half point. LSU, but I took it yesterday when it was 56.5. Give me LSU Arkansas under 56.5.
Okay.
Apparently, Rocket Sanders allegedly is not going to play.
Okay.
He's going to be out in this game, which makes it's KJ Jefferson versus the world. In this one, coming off a game in BYU where it was a letdown, you do want to make up for it, but LSU is humming right now. Love the way that defense played. KJ Jefferson is a monster, but without Rocket Sanders, I mean, he's just a lonely guy on an island out there having to do by himself, and he's having to throw his way. Dan Enos and them are trying to keep him out of harm's way a decent amount. He's going to have to try and throw his way through it. I don't see it. LSU's run game overtime against Arkansas, I think they're going to lean on him. I feel like LSU right now, God, it just smells like, after the way they played last week, it just smells like a 38-10 game, right? I feel like this is a cover by a touchdown. I locked in the sharp yesterday for my show bet at 56.5, taking the under. The under hit for me in Tennessee, Florida. The under hit for me in Georgia, South Carolina. At the end of the day, I think this is another under because Arkansas isn't going to score that many on LSU, and I think LSU is going to run the ball a lot, including with Jaden Daniels in this game. That's one right out of the gate I like. Another one, I want to get to another one real quick before we move to somebody else, because I got a couple in here that I really feel good about. Wyoming at home against App State, okay? Wyoming plays in the highest elevated field in the country in Division I, okay? App State, good football team, just beat East Carolina, and I know Wyoming, Peasley, the quarterback, didn't play last week, may not play this week, but when I look at Wyoming, this is a scrappy team. Love what they're doing on defense. I think App State, if you go back, and I'm not a huge trends guy, but within a touchdown, whether it's App State's the favorite or the underdog, they struggle to cover almost every single time. Wyoming is a 2.5-point favorite at home. I think they win by 4. Give me Wyoming minus 2.5 at home. All right, on top of the mountain next to where the Grinch lives, okay, against App State. And then right next to that one, Middle Tennessee, right down the road in Murfreesboro, hosting Colorado State. Colorado State coming off a huge emotional game. Middle Tennessee, I know they got blown out by Bama, but they played Missouri really tight. I think they're a little bit better than what people think. Colorado State comes back down to earth. It's hard to be able to get guys up like you were the week before against your rival with game day there and all this stuff. I think Colorado State kind of sleepwalks into this one. I like Middle Tennessee -3 against Colorado State. I'd probably buy that down to 2.5 because I hate 3, just like Wyoming's at 2.5. I'd take that one down to 2.5. But give me Middle Tennessee, give me Wyoming, give me the Arkansas LSU under 56.
I like it. What do you like over there?
First one, obviously, give me A&M -7.5.
Are you going to buy it down to 6?
If you're gonna do anything, buy it down to 6.5, make it into a one-possession game. Guys, look, all right, you want it to be a feel-good story. You want them to sit here and feed you a bunch of hope or stuff like that. Auburn's going to lose this game. If anything, I'd play this game up to 13.5.
Really?
Texas A&M's a lot better.
Double-digit Texas A&M.
I don't think he's crazy.
They're a lot better roster right now. I think Peyton Thorne has to prove it in his big moments. I don't think he has right now. And anytime we bring in Robbie Ashford, I just go cry in the bathroom. So
this from the same guy who just all offseason, you just mocked Texas A&M.
Yes.
Now they're going to have a double-digit win.
Yes.
All right.
100%.
Well, it's like I don't bet. And we don't, and I think on this show we don't carry water for teams. We tell it how we don't sit here and say, oh, I'm a fan of this team, so I'm gonna gas this team up. I'm harder on Auburn than anybody. I was. Go back and watch the tape with Brian Harsin. But I bet to make money. Mm-hmm. I'm not betting to make myself feel better about something. I am betting to make money, and I think A&M. I'd buy it down to 6.5 because weird things can happen on a backdoor cover.
True.
Right? You know, Auburn runs a pump back, something like that. But I like A&M -6.5, and I don't think you'd be crazy to take the under at 52.5.
Yeah, I don't think so. If Auburn's offense shows up, that's when you get worried. Because I think A&M's offense is going to show up. I
think they will.
7 from Auburn's good enough to stop A&M's running game. And I think Wegman's the real deal. But it's just I need to see more. I've seen good things out of Wegman so far, but I need to see more. I still think it's too early to put him in the elite of the elite. So that's one for me. And then I like Tennessee -20.5 against UTSA. I think UTSA has not shown to be the same team they were last year. Tennessee, you're coming off a big loss against Florida. You really have to show up in this game. I think Coach Heupel will get everybody back and they're going in the same direction. I think Tennessee shows up. I think Tennessee wins big. That's what I said.
I had that one too on my list.
I'm telling you.
UTSA's been the biggest disappointment.
I'm hands down. I don't know who Frank Harris is this year.
He's not.
Well, they lost. You lose both your co-OCs.
Mm-hmm.
You lose 52% of production on the offensive side of the ball. Army made me a lot of money last week, boys.
Yeah.
I realized Frank Harris was out.
Then I'm probably taking Duke. I'd buy this down a point. Duke minus 20.5 against UConn. UConn playing okay. They're 0-3 this year. This game is at UConn. But I think Duke's a highly underrated football team. And you go through their schedule, Duke's a covering machine right now. So give me Duke on the road. Buy it down. It's 21.5. Get it at 20.5. I think Duke's going to run away with this game early.
What do you like, David?
I like it. I like Notre Dame plus 3.5. You can get them with the plus money. To be honest with you, I mean, the money line's plus 135. Notre Dame at home. I mean, we still have some questions about what the Buckeyes are exactly going to be with Kyle McCord at quarterback. Now, 63-10, they exploded for a 35-point second quarter last week. So you see what they're capable of with Marvin Harrison Jr. and all those guys on the outside. But like I said yesterday, typically I would just say, hey, the Buckeyes are just going to out-athlete Notre Dame at every single position. But this year it feels different. You got your guy at quarterback with Sam Hartman. So plus 135 on the money line. If you're feeling like that, go ahead and take it. But the plus 3.5, especially, I think
this game would be a field goal game.
It's at Notre Dame. I really like that. Florida State minus 2 is really interesting right now. Obviously, they're on the road at Clemson, but I think they got a wake-up call last week against Boston College. And we'd circled this game all off season that, hey, this could decide the ACC championship, and we could see a rematch of this later in the ACC championship the way that it's structured this year. I really like Florida State minus 2 at Clemson. How you guys feel about that one?
Look, if I'm gonna bet it, I like Florida State minus 2. I like Florida State minus 2.5. My only reserve on this game, I am not going to touch Alabama Ole Miss or Florida State Clemson.
Nothing in Alabama Ole Miss?
Nothing in
Not
Alabama,
even the under? The under,
nothing
under 55.5.
I am not touching that. Betting wise, like we'll talk about it, break it down. I can't wait to watch it as a lover of college football. But I've got a sneaking suspicion. It's not one that I need to bet on. Like there's so many other games on the slate that I want to bet on, but like I feel like Bama with Jalen Milroe, like I feel like it may come together a little bit for him this game. But like there's a reason that spread ain't gone down from 7. Is this the turning point with Jalen Milroe where Saban stops being so stubborn and Tommy Rees stops being so stubborn and they really run the offense that's more tailored to him from a play calling standpoint during the game? Not that Ole Miss can't compete, but Quinshon Judkins is beat up.
Yep. They're
beat up at wide receiver. This offensive line got punked by Tulane. Like, Bama's going to have some games where they figure it. It's not going to look like USF.
This could be a coming out party for Bama.
It really could. And I mean, it's, again, and who the hell knows, right? I don't think Alabama's an elite team, even if it is a coming out party. But it's just not when I feel like that I'm in love with betting. But the Florida State-Clemson game, what makes me nervous about that is Clemson absolutely has to have this. They absolutely have to have this. And Clemson being a dog at home, I'm trying to remember when the last time Clemson was a dog at home, like against anybody. Was it Georgia? But that was a neutral site game, right? I think they played them. I think that was a neutral site game.
That was in Atlanta.
Yeah, it was in Atlanta. I like Florida State. I know Jordan Travis. Somebody said Jordan Travis there's some questions there. So
about him being injured?
About him being injured?
Yeah, no, if he's injured, then that would change everything.
For sure. The under, though, what's it sitting at right now?
I don't have the under.
Like, I had, you like the over? Really?
Yeah.
I think Clemson's the best part.
Oh, the
55.
State game. I thought we were talking about Alabama Ole Miss game.
No, yeah.
No,
What's it, 55?
It's 50. Clemson, Florida State is 55. Alabama, Ole Miss is 55.5, which I like the under.
Yeah, I like the under.
I like the over in the Alabama game. I would probably take the under in the Clemson-Florida State game because Cade Klubnik has not proven it to me yet.
He hasn't. I got to see how they call
When you say they have to have it, I mean, do they, though? I mean, it's not like Dabo Swinney's job is.
No. I'm talking about for them to be able to have a chance to win the ACC because now you lose this one. The reason that Duke loss hurt so much for Clemson, outside of it being the first game of the season, right, and it being Duke, honestly, is a conference loss, right? And there's no divisions now in the ACC. So you drop a game to Florida State, now you have 2 conference losses. You lose the tiebreaker to Duke and Florida State. And if you look at the rest of Duke's schedule, there's a chance. Go through it. Go through it real quick. Duke's.
It is. All right, so you got UConn this week. All right, you got Notre Dame next week at home.
Not a conference game.
Nope. At NC State at home.
Winnable.
Go to FSU.
Loss.
Go to Louisville.
Winnable.
Wake at home.
Winnable.
Go to North Carolina.
Tough, but winnable.
Go to Virginia, then you got Pitt at home.
I mean, you got two. There's a chance that Duke could lose 4 games and have 2 conference losses. And then you now have the tiebreaker over Clemson, right? And now it's Duke and Florida State, or maybe it's somebody else.
That Duke at Louisville game. Like, that's that.
Well,
that's
that one, and then North Carolina. North Carolina's right there, because again, too, if you're Clemson, you're looking at North Carolina right there, too. And I don't think they play North Carolina. I don't think Clemson plays North Carolina this year, unless I'm just absolutely losing my mind. I don't remember seeing that on the schedule.
Clemson does play North Carolina.
Where at?
It's at home.
At home.
Yeah.
So,
Clemson
again.
has FSU, then at Syracuse, Wake at home, at Miami, at NC State, Notre Dame at home, Georgia Tech at home, North Carolina at home, and at South Carolina.
Keep in mind, Florida State will play Miami too.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, so if you're Clemson, you lose this one, you're probably having 3 conference losses. Going down to Miami and Syracuse, which, Syracuse still got to kind of prove it a little more. Looked better against Purdue than what I thought. But you got another one?
Yeah, there's a couple others here. BYU +9 at Kansas right now. BYU, big win over Arkansas last week. Kansas beat Nevada, I think, 31-24, something like that. It just the line just it stuck out to me because I didn't think BYU would be such an underdog, especially over the touchdown hook there. So +9, I like BYU at Kansas, and then a couple others I was looking at. How do you guys feel about the Utah UCLA under right now? It's at 51. I like the under.
I like Utah.
What's the deal?
I like taking a side with Utah in here.
I don't know if Cam Rising's going to play.
Well, it's not. And two, we got to remember this. I know you guys do, but to our viewers, by the way, make sure you hit that like button, drop a comment in, hit subscribe, all that great stuff. Remember, it's not just Cam Rising. Brant Keithy is coming back eventually too. And he's outside of Cam Rising, and I guess you could say Jaquindon Jackson. He's their most talented offensive player, in my opinion. So, but on the other side, Dante Moore, starting quarterback at UCLA now, coming into this game on the road, right? Huge first big road test, crazy environment
I like
at
the
Utah.
Under, man.
I don't think you're crazy to take the under at all. I think this is going to be a slower paced game, especially if Cam Rising doesn't play. But I think Utah covers the 4.5 against UCLA. I really do. That's funny you say that. I think TCU is only a 6.5 point favorite right now against SMU. I like the way that they've bounced back after the way they looked against Colorado. A couple other sneaky ones to keep your eye on too. Sam Houston State plays Houston this week. Sam Houston has covered twice this year, and I don't think they've scored more than 17 points the whole year, something like that. Defensively, they're really, really good. Houston is really, really bad offensively. They are just absolutely falling apart. When I need to see if that spread's moved at all, but that's one I had circled that a lot of people probably wouldn't think of. I'm finding it right. Scanning. Sam Houston is +12.5 on the road to Houston. The over-under for that game, 38.
38.
38.
For a Houston game?
For a Houston game.
Yeah.
Sam Houston versus Houston. I don't think you'd be crazy to sprinkle some on Sam Houston +12.5. But there's some really good lines on this board. Arizona's only 11.5 favorite at Stanford.
How about Oklahoma -14.5 at Cincinnati?
I think you buy it down to 13.5.
That's a game I'll live bet, to be honest.
Well, Cincinnati's defensive line is good, but that's it.
With Oklahoma first. Because Oklahoma looks like, top tier.
I'm telling you, I've watched a couple
prime rib right now. They look good,
games.
but I want to see.
What about Colorado, Oregon over/under at 71.5?
I would rather take the Oregon
under?
TTP.
I'd
rather take the Oregon
Which
TTP.
is what right now? That's
I don't
a
think
good
it's came
bet.
out yet. I haven't seen it. I think Oregon could drop a 50-piece with some Cajun fries and honey biscuit.
And if they do, and Colorado scored 21,
What if Colorado
you'd still hit the under.
What if Colorado wins?
You'd hit the under by the hook.
I know.
What if Colorado wins this?
They're not. I don't know why you keep saying
What if they win?
If they win, this will be the most
It's going to explode. It's going to explode.
There's no,
They might let Deion be president.
Yeah, they might. He might tell Ukraine.
NFL,
Which also, I'm glad you posted that video of Deion Sanders yesterday when he was talking about the other kid.
Really classy.
That was awesome. That's the kind of stuff right there that if Deion Sanders would do that all the time or most of the time, I want to be a Deion Sanders fan.
Well, I'll say this, David.
Mix.
I'll say this. I don't how many times can you look at Deion and say, well, he's trashing his opponent? A lot of time when Deion's talking, it's about his own team. We think we're gonna win. We think that we're better than what people think they are. Everybody's hating on us. Nobody believes in us. This, that, and the other. I mean, he's not taking shots. He's not like, oh, Oregon really low-key sucks. Like he's not. So I think sometimes with Deion, if he doesn't make it about the other team, he makes it about his team. And I'm actually, I'm fine with that. Yeah. Like me, if anybody's going to talk about my brother, it's going to be me. Like, I'm fine with me talking about it. Yeah. But somebody else talks about my brother, then we got a problem.
It's the America thing, right? Americans can talk crap about America, but if some British guy talks crap about America, now I got a problem. Yeah. Right? But Deion's created a narrative, right? He does it every week. Yeah. He was creating a narrative for a season. He is Jon Snowing. It's Jon Snow versus the rest of college football.
For sure.
With a marketing background.
Yes.
Like, he knows marketing.
Absolutely. He knows how to push the right buttons at the right time, and that's what the great ones do.
YouTube, hello, friends. Subscribe. Hit the like button. Turn the notification bell on. Ring that thing like Quasimodo. We appreciate it.